let's get crazy and delve into each component of the IRAC method to get you better at understanding how to IRAC cases.
Are you out of your goddamn mind?
And use the Worldwide Volkswagen Corporation v. Woodson case as a hands-on example. First, the issue.
So, what's the problem?
This is the legal question or questions that the court is being asked to answer. For the Worldwide Volkswagen case, the issue is, can an Oklahoma state court exercise personal jurisdiction over a non-resident car distributor and dealer based on the fact that a car they sold in New York caused an injury in Oklahoma? Now, how do we identify the issue when reading a case? We have to read the case closely to determine the central question or potentially multiple questions before the court. Usually, the issue stems from a dispute or disagreement between the parties over a fundamental issue or reading of a rule or element. The issue should be formulated as a question, capturing the essence of the disagreement that you are going to break down, analyze, and give your conclusion on. Here are some tips for 1Ls regarding the issue statement. Keep it concise. Avoid unnecessary facts. The issue should be broad enough to apply to different scenarios, but specific enough to guide your legal analysis.
You can say that again.
Now that you have done the issue, second, we have the rule. This is the legal principle, statute, case law, regulation, that will be used to resolve the issue. For Worldwide Volkswagen, the rule is, a court can exercise personal jurisdiction over a non-resident defendant if the defendant has certain minimum contacts with the state such that maintaining the lawsuit would not offend traditional notions of fair play and substantial justice.
Sure.
How can we identify the rule when reading the case? Looking for the legal standards the court cites helps. Oftentimes, the rule is a restatement of precedent or derived from statutes. The rule sets the framework for your analysis. Some tips for 1Ls on the rule statement that may help going forward. Pay attention in class and take good notes. Oftentimes, professors will emphasize important rules. When reading a case, look for the court statement of the law, especially where they cite previous cases, statutes, or constitutional provisions. Third, and probably the most important from a points on the final exam perspective and what your professors want to see. And let's be honest, that's all we really care about.
Okay.
The application. This is where you apply the rule to the facts of the case in order to come to a conclusion. For Worldwide Volkswagen, the application. Worldwide Volkswagen and Seaway did not have sufficient contacts with Oklahoma. They did not sell or ship cars to Oklahoma and focus their operations in New York. The mere possibility that the car could cause harm in Oklahoma doesn't establish minimum contacts. Those are all facts to support our rule and conclusion. We can develop the application by taking each aspect of the rule and analyze it against the facts of the case. This is often the longest part of your analysis. Be methodical and use logic to move from point to point.
Oh, now I see. Now I get it.
This is truly the most important and where you get the most points and ultimately can brag to your friends about what awesome grades you received, because we know how much law students love to talk about grades.
But, yeah! In your face!
Here are some tips for 1Ls regarding the application. Think of the application section as a puzzle. You're trying to fit the facts of the case into the framework of the rule. This is where critical thinking and argument skills come into play. Always ask yourself, does this fact satisfy this element of the rule? Why or why not? Argue for both sides even if one particular argument isn't the best. Say it anyways, don't be stingy with the word count. And lastly, the conclusion. This is your answer to the issue based on your application of the rule to the facts. For Worldwide Volkswagen, the conclusion is the Oklahoma State Court cannot exercise personal jurisdiction over Worldwide Volkswagen Corporation and Seaway Volkswagen Incorporated because they lacked the minimum contacts with the state. How did we arrive at this conclusion?
No idea what is going on right now.
By summarizing the results of our application. This can be kept short and straightforward. You can also mirror your issue statement, which is what my legal writing professor always told us to do. The issue statement is a question, and the conclusion is just the answer to that question. Some tips for 1Ls on the conclusion statement are to try and avoid introducing new ideas or arguments in the conclusion. It should be a natural outcome of your analysis. If you find yourself unsure about the conclusion, recheck your application and ensure your logic is sound. Here are some overall tips for 1Ls. Make sure you practice.
But we talking about practice, man. What are we talking about? Practice? We're talking about practice, man.
The more you use the IRAC method, the more intuitive it becomes. Start by IRACing shorter cases, then work your way up. Next, get peer reviews. Discuss cases with classmates. They might offer insights or interpretations you hadn't considered. Try to seek feedback. Don't hesitate to ask professors or senior students for feedback on your legal analysis. Remember, the first year of law school is about building foundational skills. The IRAC method is one of the building blocks. With practice and perseverance, you'll master it. Well, now you are a Volkswagen and IRAC savant, but if you are still listening, you are insane and I love you.
Done.